Hornaday Sprague battle for the title has been intense and occasionally controversial. Sprague has had some trouble lately. Most recently, Martinsville penalized to the back, while Hornaday bumped his way to third and took over the point lead.
26 points separate the two championship contenders. They won't have far to look to find each other. Ron Hornaday starts 6th. Jack Sprague starts 7th. And as we know from past history, both are willing to play physical with each other and with anybody else who gets in the way.
The leftovers as we come here to Sears Point. I'm Dave Despain. Down trackside, we've got Marty Reed, and alongside Parsons, indeed, Phil Parsons. Benny's off in Talladega. Phil, nice to have you here for what should be an interesting day and an interesting racetrack.
Well, it really should. This is the most dangerous race these truck guys have for the rest of the year. So many other things can happen here. Here's a track diagram. This is the old racetrack. 11 turns over 2.5 miles. You see up on the top right of your screen, turn 4. Now you connect turn 4 with turn 7. That's now turn 4, turn 4A. It took away the carousel, a couple good passing areas. That's what the truck guys are complaining about. We can't pass on this racetrack as well as we used to. But they've got to keep the trucks on the racetrack, Dave. They've got to keep the transmissions in them. They've got to keep the rear ends in them. This is a very dangerous racetrack for the point guys.
Boris said was fastest in every practice session and then lost the pole to Tom Hubert. He's kicking himself. Kevin Harvick just won the Winston West race a few minutes ago. Hornaday and Sprague together there in 6th and 7th. Good qualifying for Morgan and Cook and Biffle. Rutman, who's won 3 of the last 5 road races, starts 13th. Doug George from crew chief to driver here today. And as you take a look back through the rest of this field, there are a lot of strategic decisions that are going to play out during the course of 77 laps here. Pit strategy seems like a big deal.
Well, it certainly does. Down in the garage here before the race, half the guys said they're going to try to make it on 2 pit stops, change tires twice. The other half said, hey, I think we can go make it on 1 pit stop. We have enough fuel. We can go halfway, stop 1 time for tires. But we don't know. The guys are split, and then I'm not sure they're really telling me all they know right now.
Now, they may not want the word out. The others know what their strategy is going to be. 77 laps is the distance. It's 150 miles. And the pit window of 25 to 30 for tires, 37 to 40 for fuel. They can make it on gas. Tire wear is going to dictate, I think, the way this race plays out today. Marty, quickly.
Keep an eye on the lap times, guys. Both teams don't want this pace to be any quicker than the high 13s. 113 and high change. If it goes below 113.5, these guys are cooking the tires too much. Expect them to slow them down.
Who's going to set the pace? That's the big question, as Tom Hubert won that pole and still says he's not real happy with the truck. They fought the truck all weekend. The lap times were there, but he said he didn't have the feel that he wanted in that truck. Reed is in the air with Winston and Sears Boy.
Tom Hubert's truck got a little bit tail happy there.
Kicking up the dust as they head up the hill, but everybody stays on course as Hubert grabs the advantage away from Borisset, and the rest of them come streaming through. This part of the track is unchanged. It's familiar from trucks in Winston Cup as they come up the hill.
And this is the first time that most of these truck guys have run this racetrack in this configuration. A couple guys ran the Southwest Tour race when the Winston Cup cars were here back in June, and Ron Hornaday actually ran the Winston Cup race. This is the new part of the racetrack right here.
And here they head back onto the familiar terrain and head down the hill through the S's. Very fast, a little scary, hard to pass. Reigns in yellow is 3rd, Harvick in 4th. Have a new leader. Boris said a lap ago worked his way past the leader, Tom Hubert, right here.
Yeah, this is really the best passing area on the racetrack, and Boris has been beating Tom Hubert into that corner a little bit each lap, and that was enough that time. He got him beside him, beat him down to the corner, and was able to take the lead.
Remarkable and a key issue in how you pace yourself for the race. So the lead battle continues, and how did this occur? We've got the said machine back in 2nd and Hubert back out in front, so the road race boys continue to race it up pretty good here. Marriage between these two, so he's working with guys he's not worked with before. There's a problem for the 41. Terry Fisher turns it around the wrong way. The Sandy, Oregon runner, who actually technically has a win on this racetrack in a Winston Cup and Winston West combined event. We're back. We're live. Ron Hornaday has a problem. The number 16 truck, the series point leader, has slowed. Corelli is pushing him down the hill, and he was involved in a big position scrap with his championship challenger, but now there are troubles for Hornaday. Marty, what's up?
A broken axle, guys. Exactly what Phil was talking about in the beginning of this race. You had to make sure that your truck could go the distance. And Hornaday, if you remember last year, had similar difficulties at this race, and it cost him dearly in the championship.
Meanwhile, I think it may have been, here comes Hornaday to pit road. I think that might have been Butch Miller off there in the dust. We've had a, yeah, sure enough, we've had a pit stop for Mike Bliss just before all this excitement began. The sequence was Bliss stopped, made the pit stop, dropped out of the top 10. Hornaday broke the axle going up the hill and is headed for pit road. Butch Miller has now spun and damaged the number 18 Dana Corporation Dodge, and we have a yellow flag as a result, I guess, of the combined circumstances here. I'm not sure which of the three. Well, obviously the pit stop wasn't the issue. I guess it's
probably debris.
Probably debris. So there must be some debris on the racetrack.
He just went by him.
We will tell you what's happening on pit road. Wholesale stops among the leaders at lap 22, including Boris Said. He stopped. Hubert didn't.
Hubert was almost the only truck left on the racetrack. All the other guys behind him, starting with Boris Said, who was running second, came in the pits.
Under the caution, they can take 2 tires, and they can take 4 under green. Bliss got 4 under green, what, 3 or 4 laps ago. And now the 66 has elected to stay out front, and so Hubert will be the leader. Boris Said elected to go to pit road and take 2. Hornaday has trouble. Let's go to the garage area.
Yeah, he's out of the truck watching the crew work on it, and this is the one thing you did not want to see happen.
We went for every precaution, too. Meg did everything. Just broke an axle. Neverson was running awesome. I was just trying to save the tires. We knew the tires couldn't make it. We're going to have to go the halfway, Dale, and just do 1 stop. Everybody else is going to do 2 or 3. And just trying to save the tires. I knew they were pulling away from me, but we had something for them. It's just a matter of broken axle. You can't do nothing about it.
Is there something about the change in the track? Because we talked to the Goodyear guys. They said you guys were getting a lot of wheel spin coming off the corners because of the new layout.
Oh, I think it's just because of the track's wearing out a little bit. You know, the surface is wearing down a little bit, and they didn't seal it. The new part's great down there in 7 and everything, but no, just a matter of track's worn out a little bit.
And we're going back to green at Sears Point Raceway. Hubert takes him up the hill.
We'll see how now Tom Hubert can hold off these other trucks. We know they have at least 2 fresh tires. In Mike Bliss's case, he's got 4 fresh tires. We'll see if he can hold off these trucks with the fresher tires.
He may be the man to watch here as Bliss with 4 tires works his way through the traffic. We understand that Butch Miller has pulled off the race course here after the restart.
He's over there right just at the entrance to turn 2. So if he doesn't get going pretty, there's a localized caution right now. If he doesn't get that truck off the racetrack, they're going to have another full course.
Great in the points last year. He said he got 60 grand. I'm trying to convince these guys we had to try to run the whole race, and that looks like that's what they're doing. We've got a caution flag flying as Bliss comes around Morgan, and it is going to be a full course caution, so they will race back to yellow. Bliss taking over the 2nd spot from Rob Morgan as they came back to the caution flag.
Tony Raines now has already come in. Now, was pit road open when he came in?
They were being told that he will be penalized. Pits were closed at the time he came in. That gets a little complicated here because you got the long access to pit road, and the rule is if you're on the access road when the caution comes out, then you're making a green flag pit stop. Did I understand that accurately? But you're 10 seconds. Okay, now we're being told he did not get a penalty, and I suspect that's what happened. If you break the plane of the entrance before the caution flies, your pit stop is considered a green flag stop because you initiated it before the caution fell. And that means he can take 4 tires.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you another thing. That's because of a heads-up move. Probably his spotter, who was way up in the hill up above turn 2, saw Butch Miller's truck on the racetrack, knew there was going to be a caution flag, and said, hey, get to pit road before the caution waves. And that's what they did. Now they have 4 fresh tires.
Team, if you just joined us, Mike Bliss is the 2nd place truck with 4 reasonably fresh tires. Behind him, Sauter, Compton, Pirelli, George, Barfield, and Crawford all have 2 new tires, but did not make the 2nd pit stop to get the other 2. We're back underway. Green flag is flown, and Bliss makes a challenge up the hill, but couldn't quite get position.
I think you're going to see Mike Bliss. He wants to get that lead right now because he knows the more he runs, the more equal his tires are going to be with Tom Hubert. So he wants, while he's got that fresh tire advantage, he wants to try to get that lead.
Now Hubert is holding his own very nicely as they come into the new section of the racetrack, make the interval a couple of truck lengths with Sauter sitting there in 3rd. Just 2 tires on these trucks. They've only stopped once. From reins on back, everybody has 4. The best lap he'd ever made. There's Boris, though. Now we've got Morgan back in the pits, and this is unexpected because he did make a pit stop under that last caution flag, so this must be a problem.
That actually may be planned. He didn't stop the first time, so he stopped the second time, got 2 tires. He came back in as soon as he had to complete 1 lap, came back in, got his other tires. Now if the caution comes out, he stays on the racetrack, and a lot of these other guys may pit.
Okay, I'll buy that. That might make sense.
Right now he's got Randy Tolson, who's 4 laps down, had some earlier troubles.
Troubles for the 41 Terry Fisher. Remember, he spun out earlier. The Sandy, Oregon driver has hit something this time. Left front is damaged, and he is wobbling his way back toward the pit area. Talked about enough, I think, and that's the 84 Doug George. This is the Porter Cable truck, which, of course, has had a change of drivers of lately. George is the crew chief and team manager for that operation. But he's an excellent road racer with a lot of experience on this road course, so they put him in the truck for this race. Ranks is 10, and we're following.
That last shot, we saw some debris on the racetrack. It must have been the tire off of Terry Fisher's truck, so that may result in a caution flag, but it's not coming out as of yet.
Road racing is different, of course, in terms of cautions. There are what they call a local yellow and also a full course yellow. Apparently, the debris off of we saw it fall off right there. And that ends up laying the racetrack, and they are, in fact, going to have to throw the caution and clean it off. Sometimes they can get out there and grab it and clean it up and not have to throw the full course caution, but the combination of his truck limping around and the debris on the track have brought out the caution. The leader has not yet.
I must have hit something on the back straightaway because all of a sudden it just felt like something broke, and then now it's all right. Must have been a big old chunk of rubber.
It's a pretty remarkable stat. The Bud Pole starter has not won a race in the past 12 events. We talked about all the different race winners we've had. We've had a bunch of different pole sitters this year, and the story is that very few of them have been able to win. The bottom line is they've all got to stop one more time. The difference is that the leader, as they go back to green, has not stopped yet. So we're back underway with Hubert out front. Away they go.
I'll tell you, Tom Hubert has impressed me. The fact that he's able to stay ahead of these guys with the same tires that have 35 laps on them. These other guys all have 4 fresh tires.
Bliss stopped a little earlier than everybody else, so his 4 are not quite as fresh as some of the guys chasing him. But apparently the problem he reported before that caution flag is no problem at all. He's certainly keeping the heat on Hubert as they come down the hill.
I think you'll see with Boris with 4 fresh tires, I think it will really put a hurt on Tom Hubert with his original tires that he started the race with.
There's Biffle. Stop. Let's get the word. Marty?
Well, listening to the radio traffic, it sounds like he had some contact out on the race course, and it's another axle problem. They're not sure which side they're going to have to go in on, but it could be very costly for Greg Biffle. By the way, guys, we are stationed in the number 66 Tom Hubert pits. They are getting ready to make that one and only stop.
Here's the pass for the lead. Boris set on the attack on the outside. Up the hill they go. Hubert reluctant to let the position go, having the preferred line till they get to the top of the hill, and now it's Boris' turn to hit the apex first. This is a good side-by-side race.
It really is. And again, remember, again, we emphasize the fact Tom Hubert has tires with 38, 39 laps on them.
And he used them well in that effort to hold off Boris, but inevitably the fresher rubber wins out.
And this is the one and only stop. He's got to get around Greg Biffle. The crew is in. It will be a 4-tire change. Emery Donaldson on the jack, the crew chief. Right side up. Keep the clock on this one because remember, laps are about 1 minute 14 seconds around here. With the amount of time, they figure they can get him in and out of pit lane well under before going that lap down. And that's why this strategy is what their call was, to go for one stop. Here comes the right side tires. Now, I'm looking at these tires that came off, guys. There is no real severe wear. Tommy Hubert has done an excellent job. These guys are out. 30.
Good stop for Hubert as they go around, put 4 tires on, send him back out, and wait for the caution that they hope will put them back into the lead. 22 is the magic number for Hubert. He is 22nd with 22 trucks on the lead lap. There's an inside move by Jack Sprague. This is 4th position as he tries to work his way around the 75 of Harvick.
They were ready, so he did his job here. Right, left side's going on. The fuel is in. And now there's a penalty being assessed by NASCAR. Now, I don't know what the penalty's for, and now this could put them a lap down because into turn 11 comes Boris Said. He came in too fast, and speeding violation. He's going to have to hurry now, but remember, it's 35, and here comes Boris. I think he's going to lose a lap here, guys.
Broke the speed limit of 35 on pit road, and here comes the leader as he heads back up the hill. He may just barely stay on the lead, on the tail end of the lead lap here. Tony Raines is sitting duck for Boris Said as Boris works his way in. And look out, almost nudged him out of the way, and then Boris elects not to have a report that the 14 of Crawford has gone behind the wall. So that ended a good run for Rick. He was in the top 3.
Now Sprague is going for left side only, so this could be a little bit interesting. Oh, we've got a crew member underneath, going underneath the chassis, and I'm trying to see exactly what adjustment it looks like. It looks like it could be shift linkage. He's got a hammer and a wrench up underneath there. This is going to take a lot longer. This is really going to hurt Jack Sprague, guys.
This is the thing that we talked about earlier when Ron Hornaday had trouble. This is the thing that Jack Sprague wanted to try to guard against. Probably what happened here is the thing. A lot of times shifting these things, you'll get them hung in 2 gears, and they won't. In the truck won't move, or it'll be stuck in actually a gear. But it's actually the shifter is in between 2 gears, so they may be trying to get that shifter out of being stuck into one gear or another.
The problems for Hornaday and now for Sprague. Hornaday is back in the garage area and showing lots and lots of smoke. We noted that he had dropped a further lap. He was 5 laps down, was actually running at the pace of the leaders, but now Hornaday has an additional problem and has gone back to the garage area.
We got Jack Sprague back on pit road for a penalty. Marty Reed's down there. Marty?
Yeah, NASCAR said that Sprague's speed was too excessive on pit road, stop and go, so a little bit more. And now they're reminding him on the radio, slow down, buddy.
So, Marty, this was that penalty infraction occurred as he was leaving the pits on the previous stop. Is that right?
Correct.
We're back at Sears Point. The leader is on pit road, leading by nearly 30 seconds, but needing a pit stop. Boris Said brings the Federated Auto Parts number 44 down to the attention of the crew. He'll find out Tuesday whether he keeps his job. A lot of it could ride on this stop right here. Marty?
Boy, guys, you talk about pressure on a crew. This is it. We'll keep the clock running, and I'll keep my eye over my shoulder to see what happens as far as guys like Bliss and Hubert. They seem to be the 2 trucks that have the most for the 44. Little tangle there between the gas can and the hose getting around for the jack on the air hose on the right rear, but that's okay. Looks like Jimmy Hensley is also going to be coming into the pits. Right now, he's topped off. He's out of here.
And, oh, now we've got the 66 off the course and into the tire wall. Hubert has crashed. He was racing with Mike Bliss, 4th, 6th, and 7th position, and Hubert has crashed the truck. Wow.
Caution flag is out.
Still probably need a pit stop, don't they? Here's the replay. Missed the turn.
Yeah, it looks like he might have had a brake problem or something like that. He went in the corner awfully hot. He just went straight.
Yeah, she didn't look like she was blowing much when he yeah, that's a pretty tight corner at the end of a very fast section of racetrack, so you need the brakes when you get there. I'm sure he'll be able to tell us here in a moment. He has vacated the truck, and after a bit of a frustrating weekend, it comes to a bad end. We've seen a lot of caution thus far, and now we're going back to green. They'll restart with 17 to go, and they head up the hill with Boris on the point.
Got a lap truck of Scott Walters in between Boris and the place truck of Dennis Setzer.
Scott Walters 17th in the running order. 16 trucks are on the lead lap, and so he's spoiling Setzer's opportunity to get on television here, if in fact that was the Keselowski team strategy. Keselowski, the driver of that number 29 truck, stepping aside here because of some back trouble to let Setzer step in. Setzer will be a Dodge driver. In fact, Dodge is going to have quite an impressive effort next year if the pit rumors and gossip are to be believed. Hubert uncorked a great lap and deserved the pole, but it was more a mistake on the part of Boris in turn 11 than the excellence of the Hubert effort, I think, that resulted in that. Oh, we got trouble here. Got a couple of them. Mike Wallace is 52. has hit hard. And I'm not sure.
Is that Terry Fisher's truck, the 41 truck? It's hard to tell.
In front of him, here's the moment of impact.
There's another view of Terry Fisher getting off the racetrack, spun across the race, back across the racetrack, and Mike Wallace having nowhere to go, just kind of pile driving.
At the time of the incident, Fisher was a lap down. And I'm not sure.
Looks like that the way Terry Fisher is gesturing that maybe there was some contact prior to Terry Fisher getting off the racetrack, and then he came back across the racetrack.
And we'll find out now if anybody can race with Boris. We're ready to put the green back in the air. We're underway.
All clear.
Raines trying to make a quick move on Bliss. For second and third, you're on board the Pennzoil Ford.
Tony actually got outside Mike on the restart, jumped outside him, and Mike was able to beat him down in turn one.
Bliss said yesterday, we're sneaking up on it. Didn't qualify all that well. Started 11th. He's got company, as the spotter indicates.
You hear Eddie Thrapp up there on top of the mountain telling him he's all clear. Go after Boris.
Is that not Hornaday back at the tail end of this bunch? Ron Hornaday is 15 laps down, victim of first a broken axle and then a damaged rear end. Now there's the 16 Napa truck. So this is a disastrous day for Hornaday, but he's still racing real hard.
That's pretty much where Ron's going to finish in 25th position. That's pretty much where I don't think he can gain any more positions.
Jack Sprague, his nemesis in the championship battle. Jack will retake the point lead here today. There is Sprague in the middle of that pack. Oh, and Compton spins right in front of Sprague. Stacy Compton turned, and Sprague, well, he didn't have to take a big evasive action to miss him, but I'll tell you what, if Sprague had been 3 feet further out in the racetrack, Sprague would have been right in the side of him. What goes round comes round, I guess is what they say. Here's another look at it.
Is there some contact on the inside? It looks like there was some contact from Jay Sauter. So Jay Sauter tried to get on the inside of him, wasn't quite up to his door, and made a little contact and around Stacy went.
Sprague was there trying to get Sauter out of the way.
It's too bad for Stacy Compton. Did a good job, stayed on the racetrack all day, and was headed for a good top 10 finish.
That team's just done a great job. They have really matured over a couple of years of truck racing. Said has the indication 1 lap to go as he stretches that lead out to 5 3/4 seconds over Mike Bliss. He's road raced about everything imaginable. Had a very successful stint with the BMW team, one of their touring cars. Drove for Jack Roush for a while in Trans Am. When Ernie Irvin went looking for a new truck racer 2 years ago, he said, let's give Boris a try. Boris, of course, connected with No Fear. Interesting mix of people in that team. They've dominated here today. It's finally going to pay off for them. For the final time into the hard-braking section of the racetrack, Boris said, makes the turn and heads for home. The checkered flag awaits. It is over, and Boris has won it, and the battle will be for second spot. Bliss, I believe, is going to be able to hold off Raines. We'll take a look. Yeah, Tony couldn't get close to him. The race is over. Boris said has won it and made his way to victory lane in his 54th NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start. Well, let's go to Marty in Victory Circle.
Well, they're backing the truck up already. Oh, Boris overshot victory lane. The only thing he overshot today. Climb out of here, guy. There's a bunch of people who want to congratulate you, and we want to talk to you. So he hands the helmet out. Here, let me take that. I can hold that while you get out. And here he comes, your winner. Team congratulating him, Lee Morse. Here, can you take this for me? I need to talk to you. Congratulations, guy. Nice run. You had him covered.
Yeah, finally. I mean, I don't know how much time you got for the interview, but I mean, Federated Auto Parts has been sticking with me all year long with 1-800-COLLECT, and we've been struggling and struggling. And, you know, these guys have given me a great truck, and it's not easy to win one of these with guys like Hornaday and Ruttman and Sprague out there. And, you know, I've just been trying all year long. It's the biggest win of my life. And I just want to thank all the people at Federated, Rusty Bishop, Art Fisher. I mean, from all their installers to Arthur in Kentucky, I mean, good friend of mine. And you know, I just want to thank them for all their support. And hopefully all these fans will keep supporting Federated Auto Parts. And you know, it was a tough deal today right before the race, seeing my best friend Ernie crash like that at Talladega. And You know, I was just, you know, thinking about him a lot. Ernie, didn't have your cell phone with you. I couldn't get a hold of you. But, you know, I'm glad he's all right. And, you know, I just want to thank all my friends at No Fear, Spy, 1-800-COLLECT. And, you know, all race long we were worried about the tires. And, you know, these Goodyear tires held up great, so it's pretty neat.
You mentioned Ernie. You also told me earlier that your future for next year is decided next Tuesday. That's a lot of pressure to carry in that cockpit.
Yeah, I mean, no more than, you know, ever. I mean, I want to win every race I can. But, yeah, Ernie and Mark are going up to Federated on Tuesday. So, you know, hopefully all these fans will support Federated so they can support me. And I don't even know what to say. I mean, there's so many people in my career that I'd like to thank that, you know, I can't name them all. It's impossible. But, you know, it's a dream come true. I started racing 11 years ago, and I never would have thought I got an opportunity like this. And, you know, today we did awesome pit stops. Our guys are great. And, you know, I mean, it feels really good when everything clicks.
Well, you cap off a good weekend because Mark Simo, your friend, crashes the Petit Le Mans. Ernie crashes earlier today at Talladega, and you bring home victory #1.
Yeah, I mean, both team owners wrecked out this weekend, so somebody had to carry the flag for him and Simo. But, I mean, that's nothing to joke about. But I think they're all right. And, you know, Ernie, if you're watching, finally. Ernie always tells me even a blind hog can find an acorn now and then.
And he's looking forward to that Tuesday meeting now, guys. Deposed, but only temporarily, because he had a smile on his face when I told him it was an 18-point difference, Ron Hornaday.
Well, that's hats off to my crew. You know, we had a problem with breaking an axle, and that happens in racing. But for them to come back and the pump got locked up and burn the rear end up, and them guys to keep working hard, that's an awesome team. And they kept coming back. I'll tell you, you know, the Napa Chevrolet ran good all day, but it's just a matter we couldn't show it. We lost the pump in the rear end, and it could have burned the trans and the rear end up. So we were just babying it, and that's what we need to do for this points race.
This track bit you last year, but we're going to some tracks that you like. I mean, Phoenix, and then on to Las Vegas at the end when we'll be having our cameras there again for the finale.
Well, the bad part about this track is we talked about changing the axles before the race, and we talked about it was a brand new rear end, but you know, it's pretty hard on it in practice and hitting the bumps side to side. And when you break that axle, it happens. But, yeah, we're going to some good race tracks. Mesa Marin's a good track, and they repaved it and resealed it. So everybody's got a new deal going there. And Phoenix, we won there last time, but Jack's tough there. So we're just going to have to run tough.
Well, thanks to you and Jack Sprague and your teams, this is the best points race going in NASCAR competition this year, and we're going to be there to cover it, guys.
Closest point battle in the history of the series will be decided at the Sam's Town 250. That's coming up November the 8th, and you'll see it on ESPN. All indications are that he's doing real well, all things considered. Here's how it worked out. Boris Ed from the outside pole has won the thing over Mike Bliss, who came through a lot of traffic from 11th to 2nd. Raines held on to what he had, but went to the back and came back to the front to finish 3rd. Ruttman was your 4th place finisher from 13th. Hensley from 26th to 5th. Houston from 20th to 6th. Norrick from 28th to 7th. Those are some pretty impressive runs, helped by good driving and good pit strategy. Sauter Sprague rounding out your top 10 there. And Sprague, of course, the key for him is the championship, because as you look further back in the results, we'll note that Ron Hornaday finished 23rd, 15 laps down as a result of a broken axle and subsequent broken rear end. They had to make 2 extended trips to the garage area, and as a result, Sprague will take over the championship point lead. Tough breaks for the guys in the back, but that's the racing business. We're going to take a commercial break and talk.